Yo, what's going on, YouTube fam? Welcome back to another video by yours truly. Before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the Etheria Restart team for sponsoring this video and enabling me to bring it to your awareness. Now that we got that out of the way, I want you guys to understand I was deeply impressed with the live stream for this game. I really was. They revealed so much information that I'm sure went over your head as much as it went over mine, because there was just so much to unpack in such a condensed period. Don't worry, I went back, looked over everything off stream, and now I can convey it to you guys so that you can digest what exactly was presented in front of you and have a better understanding of what Etheria Restart is and what it's going to be offering when it launches on June 5th. Easy plugin. And the beta on May 8th. Easy plugin. Free rewards, by the way. Make sure you pre-register. You get some juicy rewards. We're getting a 10 pull on the standard banner, which, by the way, we know that the standard banner is giving us limited characters placed inside of it. So these standard banner pulls are much more valuable in this game than they are in the games we're used to playing. Anyways, getting back on topic here, it's important that we acknowledge what that developer did on that live stream. He got content creators in front of him. They threw all the questions at him, the uncomfortable ones that devs usually dodge, and he answered them. Not only did he answer them, he did the best of his capabilities to communicate in English to show the Western audience that he does care. And I think that's something that's worth respecting merely in terms of a gesture being paid. And so that was really cool. I also like the idea of them going in a positive direction in terms of predatory practice instead of a negative direction. We got no 50-50s in this game, guys. No 50-50s. All right. We've got no weapon banner in this game. We've got limited banner characters going inside of the standard banner. I mean, brother, I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. That's insane. So just this alone already makes me want to advocate this game 1 billion%. It's just nuclear W's all around in terms of a monetization model. That said, I digress. Let's get into the elements of Etheria Restart that I have jotted down on my notes. Boys, we got a lot of notes over here, man. Y'all think I'm lying. Look at all these notes. Look at all these notes, man. My goodness. And we got redemption codes. I'll be sure to put those in the description box. And so without further ado, let's go over all of this real quick. Click the link down below in the description box right now, or the pinned comment in the comment section to pre-register. Free rewards, free pulls, and free outfits. Really nice. Let's get into the details, starting off with their build system. So they have modules, matrix effects, and shells. Shells are pretty much the pet companion that you see floating around. We'll get into the details on that later on. It's also pretty much your weapon in Etheria Restart. Modules is your gear. Same gear you see in all the other games, it's just called modules in here. We're getting the jargons out of the way. Now, the way modules function are just a little bit different in Etheria Restart. There's 6 in total, and there's 3 on the left and there's 3 on the right. The 3 modules on the left have fixed primary stats. You cannot change the primary stats, and they're always going to be attack, HP, and defense. The 3 modules on the right, however, you can make those primary stats whatever you want them to be, which is crazy. That means if you're like rocking some crit character and you want nothing but crit on all 3 modules on the right as a main stat, you can do that. That's pretty freaking cool. Substats function the same as they do in the games we play. Every 3 levels, when you're leveling up these modules, is going to roll on a particular substat, RNG reliant. However, they have another cool gimmick on top of this. You can block off. Let's say you brick and you get flat defense as a substat. You can actually block that off from ever being rolled on to increase the chances of your RNG landing on the stats you want it to land on. That was pretty fascinating. And then there's matrix effects, which pretty much, and the way I interpret it, it's just set bonuses, right? Depending on how many pieces of the same set you have on, these matrix effects will then activate. And so you want to try and get those paired up with the shells in conjunction to activate a particular matrix effect. Now, the next question you might be asking is, how do you farm the modules? Excellent question. There's a mode called Threshold mode. This mode has 3 unique bosses with a total of 14 difficulties. And the way that's going to function is every time you beat the boss, you unlock a more difficult challenge or a difficult level of that boss until eventually you get to the 14th difficulty. Now, of course, the further down, the better the rewards. But what I thought was cool about this is there's a continuous battle mode, little perk that you can utilize, AFK. And while it's doing its AFK thing, you don't even have to have the mode pulled up. So you can exit out this mode, go do something else entirely. It will continue to run in the background while you're doing whatever the hell it is you're doing, AFK collection later on. So that was a nice QOL. I really appreciate stuff like that because I'm not someone that enjoys doing tedious and mundane tasks every single day. But if you can do it as a, like, hey, do that while I go and get this done, excellent. This mode is where you also farm for your modules, your gear. That's where you're going to get your set pieces for all the characters that you're going to be developing up. So that's your threshold mode. Now, shells. That's going to be your pet. That's going to be your companion. And it also functions as your weapon. Now, these little guys, which they have an abundance of them, they do participate in combat, and some of them function differently. Some of them actively attack. Some of them provide buffs to your team. It depends on the functionalities of them and your team strategy. But I think that's quite enjoyable because not only do you have your characters on the field, you also have these little mags or pets, if you will, that are going to be contributing to combat as well. Pretty cool. Next up, we have Grim Pursuit mode. This is going to be the mode for farming your shells, your pets and companions. 10 more unique bosses will be in this mode, and each boss is going to drop a different shell and a module. So, of course, before you jump into battle, you're going to look at what the boss is dropping. If that's the shell you're trying to go for, then that's the boss you're going to farm. Loadouts. Loadouts for equipment are coming on launch, boys. I will always be amazed on how excited I get for that. That's a testament to how cooked some of these gacha games are because they don't have any loadouts. But this game does, thankfully. Moving on to the trial challenges, there's going to be 4 modes for the trial challenges. Let's go ahead and walk you through them. The first one is Anti-Sync Echoes. This mode is going to be short missions for all playable characters in Etheria Restart. It's also a way for you to understand the backstory of all playable characters, right? So you go down this mode, if you want to know the backstory of whoever, it'll be in this mode for you to do. They give summon vouchers for completing these, so you can go down the line, complete all the characters, get a free pool, and then upgrade mats will be another reward, as well as avatars and cosmetic items. Phantom Theater mode. This is going to be your multiplayer mode where you can pair up with 3 people, including yourself, right? 3 parties in total to fight 3 different bosses. I thought this was kind of cool because it's like co-op, right? You pair it with 2 complete different friends or strangers. Yeah, you have a bit of a co-op experience. I'm all for co-oping games. Anyways, higher battle rating yields higher rewards. So this is going to incentivize you to make a bunch of friends, pair up with those friends. Hopefully some of them are some juicy whales, and you can get maximum rewards, which is pretty cool. Now, this will reset weekly, so you'll always be able to do that mode every single week. Next up, Ember Trek. This is going to be like your rogue-like mode. We've seen this mode in almost every gacha game these days. It's another rogue mode where you pick between different buffs as you go through an exploration phase. You fight different bosses. You get super juiced up from all the buffs you choose. Clap cheeks, GG's. Moving on, Ethernet Rally. This is supposed to be the challenging mode. In fact, I thought this was the most unique PvE, I guess, in-game mode, if you will, because the way it functions is you need 3 different teams to play this mode. They start off in 3 different areas, and then I guess you just low-key conquer the whole map. And then when you conquer that whole map, you're going to end up being able to get a bunch of rewards at the end of it. Next up, guilds will exist in Etheria Restart. It's called unions, which means you're going to have incentivizations to knock out certain tasks so everybody can collect more rewards. There's going to be guild bosses or union bosses for you to fight as a guild. And I think there's a PvP mode that's going to be tied into this as well. So people who are big fans of unions, or I guess guilds, if you will, that's definitely going to be offered in Etheria Restart as well. And then now coming up, the Vulcan Special, PvP mode. This is a big focus in Etheria Restart, but it's not like they're just only focusing on PvP. There's their PvE experience, which you just listened to me list off a plethora of different PvE things for you guys to do. And now we've got our PvP modes. Let's go ahead and go over them. So first off, we have Arena Realm. It's going to be 3 different modes. Etheria, this mode is not real time. This is the traditional kind of PvP mode where you face off against other people's defensive setups, right? So if I'm a person that's participating in this mode, I'm going to set up a team designed to defend off of people. And if you lose with your defensive team, you lose points. If you win, if you defend off successfully, you gain points. So you can climb the ranks merely by having a good defensive strategy. If you played any other PvP games in the space, then you're acclimated with this. You know how this functions. Summit Arena, this is a real-time PvP mode, which means you're going to be facing off against other players live, not their defensive setup. No, you're playing against them in real time. And then finally, Fearless Arena is going to be a tournament style PvP mode with 8 players in total in a tournament fashion, and it occurs on the weekends only, Saturdays and Sundays. Finally, they didn't actually provide too many details. They said they were going to announce it later on down the line when the game launches. Union Battle. This is going to be the guild PvP mode. And then there's a separate entity, a separate beast from this, the best of the best, if you will. Esports Etheria World Summit. This will be occurring as well. So they're going to be taking this game on a extreme competitive level to where you're going to have an esports event for it. I thought that was pretty dang fascinating. Next thing I want to talk to you guys about is going to be hellhades.com. This was the third-party website that collabed with the Etheria Restart team for guides and basically all of the intricacies and layers of, depth that this game has to offer. If you're confused about the shells, if you want to know more about the characters, if you want to know whatever the heck you want to know about the game that might be confusing to you, this is another resource you could utilize to inform yourself. They have tier lists here. They also have tier lists for both the shells and the animus, which animus is pretty much the jargon for characters. They've got beginner guides. You name it, they got it here. And I did take a gander at it. It's pretty nice. You can click on these. They'll not only show you the shell, which, man, that's a cool looking shell there, isn't it? They'll tell you the basic attributes, the matrix compatibility of that shell, and then they'll explain to you what that shell specializes in. And then they even got a little shell lore bit here, which I thought was pretty cool. And then of course they show off their abilities, and they even have guides of particular creators in case you want a more hands-on approach to how these shells function. It's set up pretty nice. I will admit they got some pretty cool stuff here. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap up pretty much all the things that I thought were pretty important from that live stream format. I'm impressed with what I see. If it's one thing I know for certain, this game ain't lacking content. There's all kinds of content for you guys to do. You might even be thinking, oh, it's a bit overwhelming. That's a lot of content to start off with. Well, they have a lot of different beginner, like methodical approach events and modes that you're gonna be doing as you're progressing through the story that are gonna teach you all of these elements of the game. It's not like they're just gonna shove it all in your face. You're gonna learn them in a pretty linear fashion. So you can rest assured, it won't be as intimidating as I've explained it in terms of all that packed, condensed content. I'm excited. I've been looking for a new turn-based game in this space to sink my teeth into, and this looks like not only does it have devs that respect the dollar, that actually listen and are attentive, but it's also got a pretty good model of game replayability. Anyways, if you like what you see, again, don't forget to click the link down below in the description box or the pinned comment in the comment section to pre-register now. We got more content coming for you guys in the foreseeable future. We're gonna be dropping content on the beta as well as the launch. We're going all in, boys. Thanks for watching. Peace, love, and happiness. Huge shout out to their team for sponsoring this video once again. Catch you guys on the flip side.